people.
Extensively signed.
Extensively signed. Oh.
Hello?
Hi. Ooh.
Greetings, room of people.
Greetings, Chris. We're getting a little bit of... maybe we recommend headphones. We can hear a bit of ourselves there.
All right, I think we corrected.
It seems to have stopped now. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you guys fine.
Oh, great. The system works. We do, to the chat, there is a hiss. Yes,
Like a cricket.
we're going to see if we can deal with that.
Everybody run.
Oh, no, it's a creeper.
Did I butcher your intro enough there, Chris? Was that sufficient?
No, you did a fantastic time. Fantastic job. I'm sorry, I've been drinking all morning.
Oh, no, it's chopping.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Okay.
Great.
Good, okay.
No more hiss.
Yay!
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
So we're audio only with this call?
I did actually have the cam set up, but apparently it's not working correctly. So I guess my beautiful voice will have to do.
Just imagine a really handsome man.
All right, I am.
Well, we could actually give a picture of him. It's
Oh, you
kinda
could,
small, but
Have you clicked the video button on your end?
I am working on that to double check it right now because I am very technically competent apparently. Let's see.
Fantastic.
Actually, it's a good picture.
And it glows when he speaks. Yeah. Apparently Chris is very loud. Yes. That's not something you need to adjust, Chris. That's something we need to adjust. Don't worry. Chris down. Room
Okay.
up.
Are you getting any video now?
Nope. Just the glowing face.
It's a great face, though.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty good.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. Apparently we're really quiet and Skype is.
Room is quiet.
Okay. Skype is probably okay, but we need to be louder.
yeah.
Yes. How's that?
Balanced out.
Okay, I think we fixed it.
Chris
So
down, room up sounds like a great song.
there should be. Let me just check here. If we go to the Desert Bus, yes, we do. On the main page of desertbus.org is the post for this guest call. If you have any questions for Chris, please post them in that place there, and then we can ask some of them.
He does have a soothing and melodious voice, doesn't he? Someone was saying.
I do my best. Although I can't possibly compare to the singing that you guys were doing earlier. I was very, very impressed.
So you've got your tux all sorted out, Chris? It's all fitted?
Actually, Men's Warehouse is very accommodating, and they took care of me pretty well.
Yeah, like the Lure group, he'll be at the charity auction.
Oh, fantastic!
8th.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look forward to saying hi to you there. So, wow, there's already some good questions. Should we ask some? Oh, okay. When you first heard that Fallout 3 was being made, how did you feel about the shift in gameplay from third to first-person view?
I know that Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 basically focus on the isometric aspects, but once I heard that Bethesda was doing Fallout 3, I pretty much figured that their open world experience would take care of any issues with the camera shift. So I mean, they've always done a really good job with Oblivion and Morrowind about just creating this big open world that you can explore, and I think Fallout 3 really delivered with that.
I would agree, but then I just love Fallout.
How much do you love Fallout?
I love it this much.
You have no idea how much he loves that game.
Oh, you know, I don't think I mentioned Fallouts in my preamble to Chris. I mean, kind of pivotal in the original Fallout, so that's, yeah, kind of important.
One of my favorite Fallout-related things I've seen is the speed run of Fallout 2. Have you seen that?
Oh, how long did that take?
20 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
because you short-circuit it, right?
They did it so that they run to San Francisco and then run around inside the city limits so they don't trigger
Right.
some sort of scene. But the part that I love is they have to get the key from the president, and so they go up to the president.
Well,
and
you always have to get the key from the president.
no, I know, but they just pump him full of super stims.
Yeah, and then he dies.
Which is not an aggressive action because it's a
Right.
healing item, and then they rest for like an hour, and then when they come back, he's OD'd.
Yeah, that was one way that people tried to get around the child killer perk in Fallout 2, is they would just super stem the kids to death. Oh. Yeah, that was pretty moralistic game.
Wow.
Some good ones.
Yeah, okay, someone's asking, are the similarities between the canned Van Buren project and Fallout New Vegas
Just gonna ask this
intentional?
question.
Yeah, we actually went back to the old archives of stuff that we'd done for Van Buren and just kind of see how how it could be applied to New Vegas, and that's the reason you'll see a lot of the same named characters, but they're not exactly the same interpretation they were in Van Buren. We took the Mojave Wasteland and just saw how they could be incorporated in there. So basically, if you've read any of the Van Buren design docs, the reason that they're not actually the same is because they just assumed a different role in New Vegas.
All right. This may be kind of a mean question, but what was your favorite?
Oh, I love it.
What
Go
was
for it.
What was your favorite odd or funny glitch in New Vegas?
That's tough. The one with the bloodied head or the skinless people that you would talk to, I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I almost wish that we meant that intentionally. We should have created characters that actually looked like that. But yeah, that was probably the one of the top ones. And that and Doc Mitchell at the start of the game with his head moving around like The Exorcist was also pretty awesome.
That was disconcerting.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a whole bunch of questions.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Chris, how far in did Van Buren get before it was shelved? Like, what's the story of that? Because I mean, I've only heard sort of snippets of it here and there.
I worked on it for about 3.5 years, just doing design documentation and story. And then once Baldur's Gate 3 got canceled, the entire Baldur's Gate 3 team moved over to Fallout. I worked on it for about 3 more months after that. And then I left, and then I believe it went on for about 8 more months after that before it was canceled.
Oh, seriously?
It's a lot.
Yeah, that was
4 years.
yeah, it was a good chunk of life just flushed down the toilet. So yeah, that was really good. So when New Vegas came along, I can't really tell you how happy we were at Obsidian to actually be able to resurrect some of that stuff.
I bet.
Wow.
Are there any other games or movies or other media that you feel have had a large influence on you?
There was a lot of stuff that I think factored into Fallout, but a lot of that was actually spurred by the game itself. Like I did a lot of post-apocalyptic research, like Road Warrior and A Boy and His Dog and a whole bunch of other post-apocalyptic films. And I know that when we were doing the DLCs, we did a lot of 1950s science fiction movie research, which was a freaking blast. The Deadly Mantis and Tarantula and the brain from Planet Eros, like all those things. Like it was kind of a chore to sit through some of them, but doing research like that for a job is pretty amazing.
Just trying to see.
The Old World Blues was nominated for just recently for the.
Spike TV,
Yeah, the Spike,
yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
very true. We were very, very excited about that. We're like, oh my God, someone noticed.
Well, it's awesome. That's quality DLC. If you haven't bought it, you should go get it. It's really cool.
What game have you played the most? Like put the most time into that wasn't one of the ones that you worked on?
Oh, it was probably Fallout 3. Yeah, there was
right,
like
fair
about 60 or 70 hours of that.
Nice.
Which is actually pretty low compared to many other players who played the game, so I feel a little bit inadequate.
I feel like the answer to this question might be getting back to Fallout again. But what would be your dream license to work on?
Wow. So there's a few. One would be Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
The other one would be, oddly enough, The Wire. And the third one would be System Shock. Although they pretty much resurrected System Shock with the Bioshock series, but I always like the science fiction aspect.
I agree. I mean, look, I love Bioshock, but I think System Shock had just a little something, you know what I mean? Just a little something that didn't translate fully into Bioshock. Shodan, yeah, well, Shodan.
Yeah, that would be a big factor.
Okay, maybe a big something then.
Oh, a really good question from the chat. What's the best Easter egg you've put into a
Oh,
game?
good one.
So in Fallout 2, there's a special encounter if you have a really high luck that's called the Cafe of Broken Dreams.
Oh, yes!
And when you actually go there, you get to meet all the characters from Fallout 1 that didn't get a chance to appear in Fallout 2. And they'll talk about your character. You get to meet Dogmeat. And the nice thing is when you actually meet Dogmeat in the cafe, you can actually do the exact same sequence to get him as part of your party in Fallout 2, and then he'll just join you as a companion for the rest of the game, and that was a lot of fun to do.
That's awesome. I loved when they did Fallout 3. That I don't know where it was announced, but it was like it's been stated as canon that Dogmeat in Fallout 3 is a direct descendant of Dogmeat from Fallout 2.
Well, can't you also get that? There's that perk in
Puppies.
Yeah, that's puppies.
There's that perk for Broken Steel where like you can actually have dog meat, like have puppies.
Yeah.
So like there can be 10 or 12 descendants from him. So like I guess the generation just keeps going. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As soon as I started Fallout 3, I immediately ran for the junkyard to try and get him. And then I just took him from there on. But I will say the creepiest thing about having dog meat in your party in Fallout 3 was that his breathing was so heavy that sometimes you were on stealth missions, like you got this really creepy feeling, and to turn around and see dog meat breathing on you was just really just kind of, I don't know, kind of freaked me out.
What side did you take in New Vegas?
Independent.
Nice.
Mostly because I really liked Yes Man, and I was more partial to the voice acting. And you know what? If anyone's going to decide the fate of the Mojave, it's not going to be Caesar, it's not going to be House, and it's not going to be the fucking NCR, it's going to be me.
Nice. Speaking of the voice acting, I didn't know that was Matthew Perry because I apparently had missed the press release, and like halfway through, like when you catch up with him and question him, there was one line that I was just like, "Is that effing Chandler?" It really freaked me out.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to consider that actually Matthew Perry murders you or at least tries to murder you in the first 5 minutes of the game. There's actually not a lot of games you can say that about.
No, one that I can think of. Several people asking, would you ever consider, I don't know if this is something that you have control over, but would you ever consider a Fallout game taking place outside of North America?
Yeah, actually we get asked that question a lot, and the only barriers to it is that we're pretty much... Obviously, because we live on the West Coast, it's a lot easier for us to actually do Fallout games centered there and make it feel a bit more authentic.
Right.
And I think that's pretty much why Bethesda did theirs on the East Coast. So if we were to do one outside of North America, I would want to take a very large extended vacation to wherever the location would be.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, someone in the chat. I would like to see a Canadian one. Because we're in Canada, and in the Pit expansion for Fallout 3, someone asks you, like, are you from the Capital Wasteland or are you from Ronto? And I'm like, where is Ronto? Oh,
yep.
Toronto!
Well, in Fallout
they
2...
also mentioned the Erie stretch and a few other locations that sound pretty intriguing to explore, so I guess they've already set it up.
Was it Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 where you could come across that random encounter where they're recreating the war? You know what I mean? And I think they have squirt guns or something like that. Like they're... Am I misremembering
I actually
that?
don't recall. You know what? I'm guessing that's
chat will
probably
know.
Fallout 3.
Give it a sec.
I'm sure the chat will figure it out.
Yeah.
Fallout Norway, the Vikings rise again. Fallout Australia, we already have animals that kill you.
Yeah, spiders, man. A lot of spiders.
Oh, but my favorite one, Fallout West Country.
Wait, Fallout Canada is basically Skyrim.
Well, that's not a bad question. I don't think it's on your list. Someone on the IRC is asking, what's the possibility of a sequel to Planescape Torment? And my guess is licensing. But I'll let you
That's
answer
kind of a
that.
complicated answer. Because the Planescape license, I believe, is currently held by Wizards.
Really?
But the actual Torment
it's
license,
D&D.
I believe, may still be held by Interplay.
Huh.
And the ability to get it out of their bony grasp might be a little too difficult at the moment unless Bethesda wears them down with lawsuits.
Right.
It's kind of the same answer that Tim gave when we asked this.
So yeah, because there's a question here. Is there any chance of you guys doing a spiritual successor to the Baldur's Gate series? And I imagine that's similar. Because
Ultimately, it would depend on what Wizards wants to do with the license. We'd love to do more. We'd love to do another Baldur's Gate game. That'd be awesome.
that'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would.
My very best friend in the entire world loves Baldur's Gate so much that he replays both of them every year just for fun.
Yep.
Aww.
I'll tell him you said that. He might be losing his mind right now, actually, weeping with joy.
Yeah, we couldn't actually figure out why Atari would never actually do another Baldur's Gate game once they had the license, because the amount of fan base for that, and the amount of people that would buy it, I imagine would be pretty high. So, but it was their call.
It's kind of weird.
Are
there any questions we should be asking you, Chris? I don't know. I'm looking up at the mic like you're God or something. Oh, Chris, are there any questions we should be asking you? Something you want to talk
Well,
about?
there was a bunch of questions I was going to ask you guys,
Oh,
but then I
sweet.
went on Wikipedia and researched them all because I had never heard of the game Desert Bus before. So I read through that and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! Like these
show
are
them
the
the
kind
Desert
of
Bus?
games that like game developers dream of making. They're like, yeah, of
it's okay.
course. Why don't you make a game about driving to Vegas and back, but do it in real time?
Yeah.
Like we joke about that stuff, but the idea that someone would actually make a game like that was beyond amazing.
Well, my favorite part about this is that the reason Penn and Teller wanted to make this originally was because way back they were these weird people had this wacky theory that video games caused people to be violent, and it's really a shame that when this game was being developed that it was a problem then, and it still comes up now, and that's really unfortunate. And so their thing was like, okay, if a game where you're running around firing guns can actually teach you to be violent, well, let's see if other games can teach you useful things. And so they basically made this game as a giant middle finger to that theory, being like, this game is not, it is a perfect simulation of what it's like driving a bus through the Nevada desert, and it's not going to make you any better at driving a bus through the Nevada desert.
It might make you want to kill someone, though.
I actually think this game is
Very,
much
very
more
useful
likely to
skill of
cause.
driving to Vegas
Daniel,
and back and
how
keeping
is
on the road
actually
actually could be trained to a number of people I know.
It's treating me pretty well. This is insanely boring.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make your own fun.
Well, I heard that like different points of the actual ride, what like bugs will actually smash in the
Yeah.
windshield.
Yeah.
And,
Five-
like obviously there's the night day change, which is pretty exciting too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. The game's got a lot going for it.
Speaking of glitches, we've discovered a glitch in this game because they didn't test it enough, which is that it's daylight, and then it goes to dusk, and then nighttime, and then dawn, and then nighttime, and dawn and night, and it never ever goes back to day.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like, because the thing is, you have to play it for like 16 hours
Right.
before you see that, and for some reason they never did.
No
For
one else
some
has
reason.
ever done it before.
Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah. Chris, I think I kind of know the answer to this, but maybe I'll make it more of an open-ended question. So, what did you think of the fan film Nuka Break? Sort of taking the Fallout New Vegas universe and sort of turning it into a living, breathing thing, not in video games, but this time in film. What did you think about that in general?
I loved it because when you actually work on design for Fallout for a long period of time, you're able to catch a lot of the references that the filmmakers put into the series, like seeing some of the signature weapons actually off to the side as he's like going to the merchant, and then the Pip-Boy, and then seeing the bats get called up, like all of that stuff. For us at the studio, just makes us laugh out loud, and to actually see that in film format was pretty impressive.
We actually got to do the props for Zach's gun. We got there's a couple of
That's
outfits.
that gun?
It's the that gun. So we actually got the Blade Runner. There's a company called Off-World Manufacturing that makes replicas of the Blade Runner gun, and then I think Zach. So I got those on eBay, and then Zach took one of the triggers off and weathered it up and stuff because that gun is just the Blade Runner gun. I think it has different lights and stuff, colored lights, but yeah, you're right. It was a lot of fun for them to work on all this stuff. So do you think they did that well? Do you think they got it?
Oh yeah, totally. And you know what? The entire process you just described makes me realize how true of a fan you are. That's going the distance.
Yeah,
Now, if you'd actually flown to the off-world colonies and actually gotten that gun back, I'd be really impressed.
There's a question here asking if you would consider making a sequel to Desert Bus.
That's that from Tim too.
Wow.
I knew they were going to
I
ask.
like
that.
to think it's in the New Vegas universe.
Well,
So-
I've always thought the sequel to Desert Bus would actually just be coming back from Vegas, but the game actually covers that too,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like the entire experience.
Yeah, and it's so like because you get 8 hours and then you get 1 point, and then you get like 10 seconds, and then it turns back around. Like there's no way to pause it even.
And I heard that someone actually discovered that the upper limit is 99 points. Like the amount of effort you would have to invest in the game to figure out 99 is the cap. Like that's freaking.
I think
nuts.
someone I think someone did that with an emulator and frame skipping or something. Yeah, that they figured out that the score counter only actually goes so high. But the thing is, to get 99, we worked this out once. To get even 99 points is like that's years of time, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, they should have hired that guy to test it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Chris, someone asked how it was to work with Felicia Day, but I wanted to ask you how it was to work with Sheena Easton, or perhaps who your favorite voice actor was that you've worked with in the history of all your games.
Well, that's tough because Sheena Easton actually had more time to tell stories about Tech War. And those were hilarious. We couldn't actually get her to tell us any Prince stories, which was really depressing. But actually having her come into the studio for Planescape caused us a lot of hesitation because our first reaction for what you mean Sheena Easton is coming in to voice this character? That seemed like kind of an odd fit. But then she came in and just knocked it out of the park.
Awesome.
So then we were like, okay, wow, no, holy shit. And so I guess in terms of the actual quantity of stories they had to tell, Sheena had a leg up on Felicia, who didn't have quite as much time. And plus, I think Felicia Day had there was a lot of press events at the studio surrounding the recording session, so she was getting hustled around quite a bit. But she was pretty patient about the whole thing. So
she seemed to really enjoy the process. I was asking her about it, and she thinks very highly of you, but she really seemed to enjoy the character that was that she was voicing.
Yeah, she gets a big power fist in her arm and you punch the shit out of people. You really can't beat that as a character concept. So yeah, that worked out pretty well.
Can I just say thank you for being such a good sport about us putting you in our comic
several
times?
Yeah, thank you.
That was fantastic. I brag about it. I'm like, well, I happen to hit the comic series again this week, guys. And then they're like, what? You're talking about? Oh, and then I show it to them, and then they go, wow, I guess you finally made it. Yay, thanks, Mom and Dad.
Hooray!
Wow. This is so cool. Sorry, I'm just
Actually, today's has Chris Avellone and Graham Stark in it.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, we're comic buddies.
And you're half in lucite.
Yay.
Hooray!
Stop wiggling. Stop wiggling and just go with the lucite.
Just go with the lucite. Just let the lucite wash over you. It'll be fine.
Come on, Chris. It's for charity.
It's for charity.
Should we, speaking of charity, should we do this auction? I'm excited about this auction.
This is a good auction.
So, just to recap, every one of these things is signed by you and a bunch of the people who worked on it. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, these are all for Windows, Alpha Protocol, Neverwinter Nights 2, Mask of the Betrayer, and the big box Planescape Torment.
The big box.
Which is so exciting.
Yeah, it is.
That's such a good game.
It's pretty awesome.
So, BidBot is not working. We're going old school. Bid by saying bid underscore and the dollar amount, and we will open the bidding on the massive obsidian lot of awesomeness.
Oh, there we go.
$200
$200
already out of the gate.
Wow.
200,
250, 333.
333 from Old Grover.
4.
400 from Master Gunner.
500.
500 from Sephiroth. $500 from Sephiroth. 550. 700 from Megadan X. $1,000. $1,000 from Simju. Wow.
Remember, real bids, people, or else I will ban you.
Real bids. Real bids.
Mom and Dad.
Real bids, folks.
Fake bids make babies cry.
That's amazing. Wow,
That seemed to shut everybody
considering.
up.
yeah, I don't think
Everyone's like,
everyone's
no.
like, whoa, I don't think I can. 1,000, I don't think so. Someone's, I'm out at 400. All right.
Do we know if that 1,000's a legit bid?
Are you for real?
Yeah, we always operate under the assumption they are.
We like to operate
I'll swipe
on
it for Taco.
assuming people aren't dicks. But we will ask you to confirm that 1,000. Yep, Yarp, he says. All right. We're confirmed on that $1,000.
It's quality, guys. There's some really... The signatures are legitimate, or at least Chris tells me they're legitimate. There's a stick figure on there drawn by Chris.
Yes. Also, if you live in the United States, this is all tax deductible because you can write this off as a donation to a charity.
Yeah. So, $1,000 is the current bid for the big box of Obsidian Love. To Simju, we're going to go $1,000 going once. Let's bring back to the mic.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know that anyone can step to that. That's amazing, by the way. This is our highest auction so far. $1,000 going twice. So exciting. Big box of Obsidian goodness.
There's a little wear on the box. Just full disclosure, okay? It's from the '90s, folks. It's in good condition, but not perfect.
I don't think anyone's going to top him. So I think that is sold at $1,000.
Dude, Chris, I can't thank you enough for all this stuff, man, for signing all this stuff.
Hey,
That's
Graham,
just
what time is it?
awesome, man.
124. Since Bitbot is down, you want to go over the way
It was-
to get their info?
Yeah, so Simju, the winner, thank you, congratulations. Please make your donation and sign up for a donor account on desertbus.org if you don't already have one. Put your information in there. What can I say? When I want something, I get it. Nice. Respect. Respectable. So yeah, please, yeah, sign up for
That
a
is
donor
lot
account, make the donation.
145.
Ideally with the same email address. And just to be safe, shoot an email to prize@desertbus.org letting us know what you signed up for your donor account
If you
with.
need any help, just message me in the chat.
Yeah, just PM Crows in the chat and he can help you out with tracking down your info to make sure that we can send this to you.
Thank you guys so much. And when I come back, I'm gonna do. I think I've got some really cool stuff to give away. So when I come back, I will have some fun stuff for everybody.
Yay!
Oh, and Graham,
Yeah.
I didn't need to kick or ban anyone for that.
That was awesome.
So yeah, Chris, who's still on on the phone there, how's it going? Thank you so much for calling in.
That was $1,000
thanks
for
for
charity,
having me.
man, right there.
Really appreciate that.
You still there, Chris?
I sure am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're there.
All right, thank God.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. We'll let you get back to whatever you're doing on a Saturday. Hopefully, watching more Desert Bus.
I will certainly do that. I'm intrigued.
Awesome.
There was a
All
guy
right, guys.
that
Thank
got
you.
kicked.
Thank you very much for
I'm
having me. I
sorry.
really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
Chris.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to give us a call. That was
And
a lot of fun.
I guess we'll all see each other in what, 3 weeks?
That sounds great.
Yeah. It's
Great.
about 3 weeks, isn't it? Yeah.
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 All right. Thanks,
All right,
man.
guys. Good luck with the bus.
Bye, Chris. And thank you, Steve, for arranging that auction. That's
Couldn't have done it without Chris
that's
and
fantastic.
all the people
All right.
there.